Good morning and welcome to Winnipeg. Now, about Pizza Day, I've had at least 2 people comment and they're wondering, how is my diet going to be affecting Pizza Day? Yes, there's going to be, I'll be playing the pizza music, but the piece of pizza is going to be really small. Yeah, and speaking of diet, I've done good now. I think I've been on it 4 days, and I've done pretty good. In fact, I've done real good. Can I keep it up? Okay, enough about the diet. Now, what one of the viewers mentioned that we'll see you in the extra, or something to that effect. And then there was no extra. I gotta quit saying things like, we'll see you in the extra later tonight or something like that, and then I don't do it. What happened last night was, I was when I quit, it was around 2 o'clock or just before 2 o'clock. I quit yesterday afternoon, and I was pretty gung-ho about, coming back here to the model table and painting this thing. But later in the evening, or in the late afternoon, I just got real tired, really tired. It passed, it did pass, but then it got too late. Anyway, sorry about that for those of you who are, wanting to see this being painted and have a video pop up at 5 a.m. Winnipeg time. Oh, by the way, the last extra, it finally kicked into 8K. Unfortunately, most people that are going to watch it have already watched it. Unless you're, an 8K buff, you might say it, and you've got a real good high-end 8K system, and you wanted to, hey Ron, give the 8K a rest. We're waiting for it to kick into 8K so that you could watch it. Anyway, enough about this. My goodness. Let's recompose here. And Peter got back to us. I remember we were talking about that little tiny piece. It was only about a millimeter long, like the ruler that I superimposed onto the piece, and it was to the same scale as the piece, by the way. It's not like I'd enlarged the piece and then put a smaller scale onto it to make it look bigger than it really was. There's an awful lot of deception goes on YouTube, I've noticed. You probably noticed it too. You'll see a thumbnail of something that looks really interesting, and so you click on it. You're not going to see that at all. It's just to get you to watch it so that they can. I don't know. It must be something about advertising. There's so much crooked stuff going on in the world. Last night I started watching. I finished watching an episode on a series called Dirty Money, and it was about Volkswagen and how they had, they had these cheat devices in their cars so that when they were tested, well, you probably know the story. When it's tested, it doesn't pollute, but when it's on the road, it pollutes up to 40 times more than it's supposed to. And they knew about it, or they deliberately did it. There's so much deception and dishonesty in the world from people you don't expect it from. Like YouTube creators, you expect them to be honest, right? Well, I try to be. Anyway, Peter got back to us, and he told me where to look for that little part, and I'll show it to you when we're through here with our opening remarks. I think I'm pretty much done too. I'm just going to clean up here and rearrange, and we'll shake up our 77 here and see how it looks when we brush it. I'm kind of concerned about where the panel line accent color has gotten onto the edge where I have to paint, and I can't remember how well this Tamiya XF paints will paint over top of that, because it might be what you might call a little bit greasy right now. but I don't think so. I think that panel line accent color is actually an enamel-based stuff. So anyway, enough. Let's get ourselves rearranged here and get this shook up and get the day started. Okay, I'm back. I just started sliding stuff around and I noticed that we did have a bit of a sunrise this morning. Looks pretty hazy though, but we'll see when I check the computer, and if it's worthwhile, I'll maybe do something with it. We'll see. Yeah, now it's kind of fading out there now. About a minute ago, it actually looked pretty nice. Okay. Do you ever notice how I always start my whatever I'm going to say by okay? Yeah, I do that a lot. I don't realize I'm doing it until I go to editing, and I've got all these okays at the beginning of every sentence. Anyway, okay. Here we are in step 47 of the Yamato manual, at least the manual that I have online. Now, we were going to look at that little part, C56. Well, here it is, and it goes right here just above the eyebrow on this piece right here. And I was wondering, are you actually going to be able to see that piece after, you know, the ship is completely assembled? And it turns out you do. Let's see now. Okay, we got it here. Here it is here. It drops down on here. And now if we go down here, we can find it. And there, you just above the porthole, you can see it right here. All right, and then we keep going down. What goes on top of there? What goes on top of there? Okay, here we are in step 50 now. It, as near as I can tell, yes, we would see that little piece. So you know what? When I get the kit, I'm going to make the effort to put that on, just for the fun of it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it because it's smaller than other pieces that I couldn't manage. So anyway, I thought that's just sort of interesting. You know, it almost makes me excited about getting the Yamato kit. But you know what? Here in Winnipeg, we're probably looking at about $1,000 at the way the prices on that kit are going. When it shows up here in Winnipeg, that is. Now I know I can order it online, but by the time you pay shipping and duty and conversion into Canadian dollars, it's going to be pretty much the same as what I would buy it for here at one of the local hobby stores. So anyway, that's going to be a long ways down the road. So let's get back to our Iowa here. Okay, I will move in when it comes time to doing this, but I was just trying to see now, being as I'm going to probably want to start with this one right here, the most comfortable way for me to be able to do it is to be able to come in like this at it and go up to the line. At least that's the plan. Oh, I have just now shook this up, so it's ready to go. Now for some of these more narrow areas, I probably would be wise not to use this brush. Now this little one here might be just a little bit what you might call underkill, and maybe I'll find one happy medium, because I've taken an awful lot of little strokes with this one. Yeah, I was realizing though that when I was placing parts on the deck here to see how much room they covered, I didn't do this one here. Let's recompose and put it together, just for the fun of it. Okay, now this part here, I don't think it matters which way it goes on. In other words, it could go on this way, or it can also go on, the other way. So, and I remember it did fit quite nicely before. I'm going to be using the quick setting here. I find for something like this, it seems to work out pretty good. Just put the quick setting in the seam, and then just hold it just for just maybe half a minute at the most, and I don't think I need to clamp this. Although maybe I should. I'm sort of fumbling here this morning, aren't I? No, it will wick its way along in that seam pretty good there. Let's see if I can turn this over without knocking it apart. Now that's probably all we're going to need. If I get too much on there, what happens is that when I'm squeezing it together, little beads of plastic will start coming out of the seam there. And then after we paint it, if I forget to sand, which I often do, or maybe I just get kind of lazy, but I think we could let go of it pretty quick here. Anyway, you get the idea. Now about our sunrise. I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to show the wide angle view instead of the zoomed in view. The zoomed in view usually just takes a small portion of what you see off to the right now. And I'm going to speed it up considerably because real time would take about an hour and a half. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, I'm raising this up because this part does not sit on here like this. It actually goes on like this. Now how much is going to be seen there? It doesn't appear that there's very much. Just turn this around a little bit here. Whoops. It appears that if I can just hold that on there. Well, it doesn't look like very much of that bare deck is going to be showing at all. I think though what I best do though is paint just in case. I'm going to have to paint this one right here and this one right here anyway. So okay, let's recompose a bit here. No, this is going to be covered anyway. No, I realize it might look like I'm got my camera set in slow motion, but I'm actually moving in slow motion here. Well, look at that, it's starting to dry already. At least I can see it. Now, it's probably because the humidity is so low in the house right now. I know I've mentioned this before, but in Winnipeg, it's humidity is actually quite low in the wintertime. I suppose I could be switching to... Ooh, went up into the planking there a bit. I should maybe switch to the smaller brush. Now I know how Gabe felt when he tried to paint those little 1/200 scale sailor people. Okay, I'm going to just recompose here, and we'll do this one right here on camera. Okay, this is not my smallest brush, but I think it'll probably work better on something narrow like this. Let's see what happens here. Oh, and by the way, I do have the macro lens on. Now right in the center, like right here, that's where the part is going to be, so I gotta sort of almost pull it on. I'm wondering if maybe my angle is not right. I should maybe be turning it 90 degrees and doing it the way I did the other part. Just trying to go up to the edge there. I know it looks like I'm putting a lot on my brush. That's because I probably am, but what's happening is I don't realize how far down I'm sticking the brush into the paint. I don't know if I need to bother doing this one in the middle or not, but I may as well just in case. Oh, did I mention I've got the macro lens on right now, but it's not zoomed in as close as we can get. I think I said that. You know, my paint is kind of lumpy. I thought I heard a car door slam outside, and I just had to look up and see somebody was coming. I am expecting a delivery today. I'm getting a pill box with the medication the days of the week. I'll show it to you when it comes. I can't talk and work at the same time here. Okay, now what about right along here? I think I should be going a little closer to the planking. Yeah, that's better. Ooh! That wasn't. Okay, let's, well, right here it's not very good either. So let me get a little bit more on the tip. I do believe my angle is wrong. I should be coming in at it from 90 degrees and doing it more this way, and just coming up to the edge with the, and then swinging it around 180 degrees and doing the other line. I think that might actually work better. Now, I'm pretty sure that what I'm painting right now is more or less what you might, if it was on the hull, it would be the gunnel. Yeah, that actually works better. Let's see if I can go fix this up just a little bit then. This would actually be quite relaxing if I didn't have a macro lens right under my nose. Okay. I know up close like this it doesn't look all that great, but... Now I didn't time it, but while this was drying, I went outside and I shoveled some snow. And I think it's going to look okay. I don't know how much of the rest of this I'm going to do on camera. Probably not too much, because when I did the other part, I think it was this one over here. It went a lot better, getting the camera out of the way, you might say. Not complaining, don't get me wrong. Anyway, what I'm thinking now is that if I can get down to the street in my slippers on the path I shoveled, I'm sure that the delivery guys can manage later this afternoon. Amazon's coming with my pill box, and groceries are supposed to be coming probably in about 2 hours. So I gotta kind of wind this up here. But you know what time it is right now? Yes, it's pizza time. Now, I don't know how many calories exactly there is in this little piece of pizza here, but it weighs 85 grams. And if I go by what the caloric content was of the pizzas I made a year or two ago, there was about 3.37 calories per gram, at least in the pizza that I made at that time. So that works out to 287 calories. Now that's all I've had so far today. Yesterday I had a total of 606. The day before was 598. And the day that I started my diet, it was only 450. Now, you notice it's going up. That's kind of scary, isn't it? I'm trying to keep it under 1,000. So I'm expecting some cabbage in my grocery order today, and I love cabbage soup, so I'm going to probably make myself some cabbage soup. Anyway, this is going to be good. What do we got here? We got, okay, this is actually mushroom, sliced mushroom, but I like these little pieces of pepperoni, you know, I just... Here we go. I'm going to take a piece of mushroom with it too. Now, I gave myself a bit of a scare a moment ago. Well, actually, it's about an hour ago, maybe even a little more. And here's what happened. I think I mentioned this before. What I do is I shoot a few scenes, and then I go to the computer, and I'll take the files out of the camera, and I'll put them into a folder that's on the desktop, and it's called Z9. Then after I've done that, I dump the files out of the camera to make room for more shoots. And I went to get the files later to put them into the video editing program, and they weren't in Z9. And because I'd also been messing around with the files from my shoveling of snow, I thought, did I get things mixed up? Because I knew that I had deleted the files out of the camera, so I couldn't get them again, and I couldn't find them in the Z9 file. Well, as it turns out, and it took about 5 minutes, I thought, well, maybe I accidentally put them into another file. So I checked the folders for the other 3 cameras that I use, and they weren't in that either. And I thought, well, my goodness, where are they? Because I kind of had a faint recollection of dragging them and dropping them into a folder and actually watching the little thing go across the screen that tells you how many minutes you gotta wait. Do you ever notice that thing that scrolls along, it'll say 2 hours when really it only takes 2 minutes? At least that's the way it is on my computer. Anyhow, I found them. Boy, what a sigh of relief. I thought for a while there we were going to have a short episode because all the painting that I did here was on them, the pizza scene, and that's the important one, right? Yeah, we would have lost it. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits, and I'm not going to make any promises now about what's going to happen this evening. Right now I'm feeling great, but maybe around 4 or 5 o'clock when it's time to come back here again, I guess I could come back earlier, couldn't I? Sure, why not? Anyway, no promises. So thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you in the next episode.